do my best for the organization, to move the organization forward. Thought for today, we delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but really realize the changes it has to go through. And the election system is going through some daunting changes at this time. And I'd like you to know that we will come out like a butterfly. It will take time. Managers are all different, so I'd like you to not compare and contrast, but take the best practices from each and use that. I've known all the previous, as I say, correct, I've known the former leadership, and I've reached out to the former leadership from St. Thomas and St. Correct. Timing is everything. And that's all I have, Chairperson. If there's anything else you need me to add to my minutes, my meeting, anything else you'd like to know from the election system as we go along, I can add it to my list.
Thank you, Ms. Fox. That's really refreshing. We've been able to get a report. I don't think I'm going to get mine quite some time. But before you go, Mr. Daniel, just for the record, I want to acknowledge the presence of Member Claudia Georges, who arrived at 2:20.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Ms. Georges, we were in the process of Ms. Fox just gave a report. She has been formally introduced as the supervisor, and she just completed her report to us. What she's been doing and what she plans to do and how we should be moving in the same direction. Yes, ma'am.
I want to understand that the cancellations for St. Thomas is 3,100.
That's what's sent out, yes, ma'am. Now we do it based on what you receive back. They're trying to compile them right now, and then they're going to get into the board for
I don't know, Mr. Wajati, you asked the question?
No, she answered the question. And this one, I was going to kind of piggyback on what she's saying is also sometimes when it comes back, a lot of people go around and address it. And although it comes back, what
we have to work on that.
it also has to be worked on because sometimes it's sent out wrongly. And I want the public to understand that because they had a certain candidate who was running, who wife got a letter, and they made it sound like he was targeted. But sometimes people make mistakes, and it's not the staff up. Sometimes they read around name, sometimes they read around column, and that's what happens sometimes. So sometimes I hear people say that when they did vote, that could always be corrected, and then they need to place back on the list.
And that's why I'm very, very
If I should have gotten such a cancellation, it would be my responsibility to come to the board.
within 30 days.
Yeah, to say that, in fact, that I did vote and this is...
Or in fact that you want to still be registered. Because that's one of the concerns I have. We expend a great deal of money on cancellation, and people can just walk right back in the next day and say, I want to be registered, and they're reinstated. So it seems that the process just is not, it doesn't have really a benefit. The economic benefits of cancelling, to me, outweighs the benefit of not cancelling. But that's my personal opinion, and it's always been my opinion.
That's correct.
For the last 30 years.
That has been his opinion.
For 30 years.
And you know the only thing that could change that is the same Senate.
Well,
Okay.
and let me say this, and I don't want to belabor the point. I introduced legislation when I was a senator to do away with to do away with cancellation, and they did away with them. And the election system barked and said that we needed to have the cancellation so we can have a true picture of exactly how many registered voters really exist. So it was reinstated. So, but it is a cost, because I believe, notwithstanding the fact that you have 3,191 cancellation, I think, Ms. Fox, we do them by bulk mail, right? So even though it's bulk mail, it's still 30 cents per.
For the record, this is a birthday party.
No.
And the homes will not want to take
Ms. Fox is a starting point. I go to board and board have stuff to eat, so we reinstitute. I'm working with Sharon Benjamin, we can plus it out.
I saw the table set up and
Happy birthday.
It was just
I would hope
fruits.
it was a birthday party.
It is fruits. That's very healthy.
We gotta start small and
Okay.
improve.
So,
I looked
any
at
other
the
questions?
and I said, huh?
Any other questions or comments with the Georgia? Do you have anything you'd like to
Not right
talk?
now, not right now, Chair.
All right.
Besides, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
I was,
Mr. Daniel?
yeah, I was looking at one of the what was the meeting and trying to see who was this.
Yes, I give you highlights and then I give you my
Yeah.
notes.
Oh, okay, because I'm looking for the word.
No, that's your notes.
Every
Your
day
highlights.
awards, every day system is awards, the word, and I mean, when you tell something you don't like minutes and verbatim word, we get, you know.
No.
But, all right,
This is not like-
I got you.
Okay. Any other questions or issues arising out of any of the
Quite for
statements?
personal purposes, we
Yes,
congratulate
ma'am.
Ms. Forbes on her non-birthday. We should also congratulate Harry Daniel on being
That's correct.
named
Although some of the board members feel it was fraud, but
person that was
Right.
Yeah.
in charge of.
yeah, I mean, only one board member felt that way, but congratulations anyway, Harry. I
Congratulations.
wasn't gonna really call it a fraud.
Thank you.
Let's try and keep it to the meeting so we don't stray off, please. So we don't act straight on. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. The next issue is the discussion of the acceptance of the tabulating machine. One of the terms of the contract called for us to accept the machine. I believe that's a joint board decision, or I'm not sure as to whether it should be district or in fact it should be the joint board. We, and on the 5th and 6th of this month, I believe of August, the representatives came from ESNL. That's the correct name? ESNL. And they showed the use and the way the machines operate. And I believe we have to take a vote at some point to accept that equipment. Well, in Rotary, we don't charge you 5 when you're when the phone rings.
You don't pay anything.
But since everybody is big politicians, we can't charge anybody. So, first of all, I would ask the members if they were satisfied with what they saw and what was demonstrated there.
I was, I had seen the machine a couple of Februarys ago, and I felt that the person who came from the SNS, Alexa, and the lady whose name I can never remember, were very knowledgeable, and I especially liked the follow-up letter that came suggesting ways that we could do our training for the board and training for the election workers and also the public.
I'm not privy to that, to that correspondence.
Yeah, this
Who received it?
This form sent us, it was 3 or 4 pages of Alexa sent a whole lot of suggestions and
What did I address to?
email.
To who?
She sent it to Ms. Forbes. She sent
Well,
us-
I have not seen it.
No,
I have not seen it.
listed the most cost effective.
You saw it, Ms. Georges? Mr. Bouchard, you saw it? Mr. Daniel?
So
The follow-up letter that Ms.
Alexa sent a suggestion on how we should do training and to get the biggest bang for our buck.
Ms. Benjamin, you saw it? Ms. Fox, you have a copy you can make available for us?
It was an email, but I don't.
You want to email?
I'm not the computer right now, but I'll get it.
You want to email to you?
Yes, but I'll get it. I think I said it was right down there.
I haven't seen it, and I basically check my email at least once every 2 days, if not every day.
And it's speaking to Alexa's and what's the girl's name again? Bridget's immediate supervisor. He was concerned that everything came, that we liked what we were seeing. If we have any questions, we should write them to him or whenever we met, we should
Well,
discuss them.
well, what is
See
it?
I was looking for
Is
this.
this?
No, that's just the payment that we need to check to see if we don't owe any value.
But, Mr. Chairman,
Mhm.
since the machines were selected by a committee of the joint board, it should be the responsibility of the joint board to call a meeting and accept these.
I believe so.
Than putting it on the district board.
I believe so, but I just put it on so that we can, in fact, understand what we need to do, because we have an acceptance criteria, and I don't believe all of us have seen it, and I don't know if Attorney Salisbury has taken a look at it. Taking a look at it, it's part of the contract. Miss Benjamin, could you get some copy of this, please?
Just the only job.
Well, I don't see how the supervisor alone would be responsible when in fact it is the board's duty to conduct the election.
Is there a need for a section of the contract that talks about acceptance?
I don't know. Well, maybe you, I don't know if you want to take a look at the contract again. That's just the criteria acceptance. But I'm very concerned because the supervisor, and I'm not trying to take anything away from any duties or responsibilities away from the supervisor, but it's the board's responsibility to conduct the election. And if the board is responsible for conducting the election, the board is the one who has to determine what apparatus is being used. And that's my
It's not
concern.
a written thing to have the board to vote and agree to accept, but I'm guessing that's part of that contract that says it's between the SNS and the supervisor involved. So
Can be.
the supervisor might have to sign.
Can be might be the election system. What's the contract? In the front, you in the
I'm
front.
looking at the property of procurement and the system of the Virgin Islands.
Which means both the board and the supervisor, right? Yeah. So maybe maybe, Tony, you want to take a look at it and see what, and then start maybe at our next meeting, let us know what's your position. Yeah,
There's
fine.
equipment and, I was just about to say-
Also, yes, sir, Mr.
You
Daniel.
know, you were saying to the attorney at our next meeting may be a month away
It is.
or more.
It is.
Can we get, since for timing, I mean, we're really running behind time in getting things done.
Well,
Can we try to get that prior to that? I mean, if you get the call, especially,
I think-
that's very important for us to get out there and get it signed.
well, I think the issue is whether or not, who actually takes the vote on acceptance, whether it's the individual districts or generally the joint board, or, joint boards, and or the officer's supervisor, because somebody has to accept the equipment, formally accept the equipment. And the question is should the district say, okay, we satisfied with it, and we vote and that we accept it, and we pass that recommendation on to the joint board, or is it, and if that's so, then we have to go through that criteria that was just passed around to make sure that it met all the criteria. Even though I saw the machines in operation, I can't say specifically that it met each and every criteria because I was not checking them and keeping the performance with that criteria in hand and in mind to check off or checklist. So I don't believe that it would be much of a delay. I think we should be deliberative in regards to how we conduct business rather than rush into doing something that may not be in our best interest.
But, I mean, I wasn't there when you were doing the demonstration, but was it in compliance with that, agreement that we have to sign off on? What was the?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, I think we didn't have the acceptance criteria in hand going through and checking each item.
Can you give me a date and a thing as well?
Which one?
And the acceptance recommendation that was sent from the service.
It's an email, I don't know. I mean, I don't have to deal with it.
My problem is that things that are so important need to be shared. You know, we were coming to this meeting today, each of us should have had that in our hand, so that when we come to the meetings, we can be more productive. But you know, you keep holding on to stuff, Some people have, some don't have, that's not good.
I've never seen it. I think it's just an oversight in terms of those who, the receipt and the distribution of the information. And I've asked Sharon, and she's trying to make sure that before these meetings, everybody get the documentation beforehand so they can come to the meeting prepared to discuss what we're discussing. One of the things that also about these machines that came up, we received a letter from our member who is suspended indicating that the scanner was hijacked, basically accusing another board member of hijacking the machine, to the point that the letter was CC'd to the FBI, indicating that there's no procedure in place for the movement of the machines, there's no permission given, and so on and so on. Even though the letter is basically, again, a letter of annoyance, it does have some merit in that we need to set up a procedure so that if 1, 2, 3 board members want to carry the machine to a school or to a community organization or any place, so that people can become familiar with it, that we have some process in place that a request is made, that it is so noted, and that we have a process in place so that we don't have these kinds of accusations that make something that is positive negative. So I think that's something we need to work on, and it's up to the board as to how you think we should do it. I don't know if Ms. Fox, if you wanna just put something together for us so that we can have a process in place so that it can be done. Ms. Bushel.
Just want to let you know that the next viewing is we are on channel 12 next week on the 18th. Okay, so that was requested by Mr. Abbey.
Okay. Well, because
And I can tell you, I moved it since the thing I
No,
tackled with the machine.
I don't think you should. I don't think you should take that position.
I am taking a position. I won't move it, and when if it's outside and the fire burn it, they'll burn inside there because I ain't moving the machine.
No, Mr.
Ever again.
I believe what was done because in the best interest of trying to educate everyone. However, since it has become now an issue, and an issue that suggests that there was some fraud or malpractice involved, I think we need to just cover our bases and make sure that your request to have the machines displayed on face-to-face.
No, I ain't my request. I just tell you what Ariadne said, because I ain't moving it, and I ain't moving the machine ever again. But there will be requests by other places, I'm sure. Other than Ariadne, they're going to want to see the machine. And for them to be seeing the machine ain't going to happen from me. And I don't know which other board member going to have the capability to move it.
Well, I'm saying, I'm asking you not to take that position. I don't believe that. I mean, I don't think we will be doing us, the board, the election system, the St. Thomas, St. John District Board, doing us justice in terms of taking that position because you have someone who...
Like I told Member Brian after the incident, because he called this office without calling me. I called him personally myself to talk about the issue. And I told him the same thing. I'm over my hand with watch. When I have requests up there, and I'm one of the only ones that could have moved it and had no problem with moving it. But it won't happen again.
What Mr. Bushel, can't you just see it for what it is? Yes, in your haste and in your enthusiasm, you did it. But can't you see that something should be in place? Because
I didn't say nothing shouldn't be in place.
Yeah.
I just said I ain't moving it ever again, and when it needs help, Larry was going to be the one helping.
as we are saying,
I didn't say that we shouldn't put anything in place. We can put wherever you want in place. I'll go with wherever you guys want, especially wherever you want. Put the place is fine with me. But Larry was out there moving on machine, even when they do assistance, even if the building wasn't done. We hope that the member that made that statement could be the one that moved.
why would you punish the community because of the act of some, I don't want to say the word that comes to my
I
mind.
understand the word.
But why would you want to punish the community because somebody else has some warped sense of what is right and wrong? I don't think you should take that position.
Sometimes the community suffers from the ignorance of some.
But you know, you are elected, you have a constituency, and your constituency expects
I
you.
will have to understand
Expects
the
you.
point that
I appreciate it, but they expect you to be responsible. They expect you to carry out the duties of a board member and to do things to educate them into understanding how this new piece of equipment is going to work. And I just ask you to continue your advocacy for the machines, because we're dealing with a public who, most of them that I've spoken to, don't want to use these machines, don't want to use them. And in fact, it is our job to make them comfortable with them. People don't want to vote on paper and put these things through a scanner. And it's our job to make them comfortable and get them to be willing to participate in the process, regardless of what it takes. That's how I look at it. It's not about me, and it shouldn't be about you personally. And I hope that you reconsider your position.
it's tough when I make a decision to change.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I hope that you reconsider, because you are the one who worked hand in hand with a representative of the company, and you knows most about the machine than anybody else, can explain it better than anybody else, and in fact have hands-on understanding. And we expect you to assist us in getting the same information and knowledge that you have. So don't take it personally. It is not, you shouldn't take it personally because some person or some persons find it popular to criticize you.
I understand, and I'm saying that them to the teacher, because I won't be able to teach them.
Well, I need you to give me a private show.
That is no problem.
So I don't want no, with a machine, I mean, I don't know. I want that.
Yeah, you were there.
Trained by the expert, Mr. Michelle, on how the machine functions. Just in case he doesn't want to take them around.
I'm guaranteeing I'm not taking them. I guarantee you.
I'll come by and have them load them in his truck.
I can't guarantee the lottery, but I guarantee you, I tell you, it's a guarantee.
Well, I think that we have an opportunity here, and we shouldn't lose it. If how did the request come in? He just asked you personally?
No, yeah, he actually was here. I called him and invited him, just like I called Dr. Carr, and invited her, and I invited the public
Right.
to tell him to come and look at the machines and feel comfortable. When he came here, he had the same hesitation that you're stating that some voters have. Because when you hear some of the squeaky wheels ain't 100%. When you see these audience, even the audience ain't 100%. They're 10, 15 out of 50 something thousand registered voters. They might have maybe 20% that might want English. And the others, there's some of them that don't really care which one it is. But there's also those that don't want a new machine because they like the way of pressing and going.
Right.
And that's what he wanted. So when he came and he saw it, he wanted everything. Just like how we have the display in the next room. They have the voting booth, which everybody's thinking is a voting machine because they have, remember Brian always saying it's 200 voting booths, which has nothing to do with the machine. Then the next thing we have the machine, and we had it set up the day. He wants it set up how it's going to be that election, so when people see it, they're seeing what's going to happen. So that's how
Well, let me jump if I may. Let me jump to E. I thought that that the voter registration, National Voter Registration Day, would be a great opportunity for us to put equipment outside. What I was thinking about, set up some tents in the parking lot. I think Ms. Benjamin already, I had a bright idea, I think last Friday, and I called her right away. I asked the landlords to see if we can use the parking lot next door, set up some tents and whatever else we can do, spend the $3,000 that we have to really put on a type of display. Not the biggest one that we have planned for next fiscal year, but at least something so that people can see what's going on, have registrations, have demonstrations, and I would ask that you head up this process to put it together, Larry, Mr. Bosholki, and really get this moving. I'm just asking you, do not be...
September?
Yes, September 24th. Yeah. 24th.
I understand. I'm giving you guys explanation.
Yes.
From the 24th to the 24th, I'm on.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. From the 21st to the 24th?
That is correct.
So you're coming back on the 24th?
That's true. But I think it's a late flight.
You're trying to avoid us. Well, we would still like for you to be involved in setting it up and assisting the other members with understanding what's what and getting it moving, because I know we can discuss it more, but I think, Ms. Fox, if you can just at least put some process in place, like he said, he has requested, but he only requested verbally, right? So maybe we just...
We're already on the Facebook.
I know it's already, yes, it's already advertised, but we should get him to send something officially, just so that in fact, well, let's at least we should maybe put it on vote that how is the machine supposed to get there as we speak, since you said it's already set up? How are the machines to get there? Or the machine?
That's me. I know they need taking.
But I thought you said that it's already set up, and he already...
As I told you, he came, Member Wells was there. So when he made the request, I figured if it goes to Member Wells, who's the joint board chair, that was enough request. I didn't know how we got. I'll text him and tell him.
No, but I don't
Wait, it's fine. I'm just telling you.
So I'm saying that we're doing anything, we're trying to be negative with it.
I'm just saying that you're telling me that it needs to be a regular now.
I don't know, what day
One day in a week.
The Wednesday is the face-to-face.
It doesn't have to be in
No, but
writing.
one day in a week.
I think it's the 18th. Remember I text you guys about it.
I saw it.
Ain't the first time.
I don't know, I know you text me, but I don't remember seeing that type of face.
I can tell you that.
Okay,
I see that.
may I make this suggestion? Ms. Fox, would you be willing to make contact with Mr. Hartley and just have him so that we can just have some clarification? Or, I don't want to force him to put a written request at this point in time. It's 10 days, it's 8 days away. He's already been advertising it. It's something for the public. It's in our best interest, in the best interest of the voters. So, Ms. Fox, could you just make contact with him and set it up, and maybe you can work with member Shelty.
I might not even be able.
Also in conjunction with September 24th, we also got the governor doing a proclamation. We ordered some banners, we already did 4, St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John. We can't go St. John, I know Ms. Benjamin is trying to see what she can do because Ms. Smith is going to be on leave, but we need to have somebody in St. John, so.
Well, we have a
between
resident.
the board and the full-time employees, we will shut down our offices and we will be out there, but we need, St. Croix, we're looking at 2 sites, so the proclamation should be coming out in that we could do before.
Okay. Do you have any suggestions in terms of, I was thinking it's of registration and
Your ideas are fine, right?
a registration, tent registrations, open registrations, advertising. Well, means we'll have to start doing that immediately. Getting some tents rented, maybe some fruits like what you have there, or just juice.
Stickers, because it's a register.
Cookies, fattening.
Yeah, but you can't get fruits.
Okay, and then we can just email back and forth and text in terms of what we come up with in terms of that. Any questions, concerns, any other recommendations?
When did you plan to do this on Sunday?
I'm just gonna say that, well, not Sunday, we're gonna look at it and see, so we'll talk to Ms. Benjamin, so we'll come up with it. In St. Croix, I was just gonna mention in St. Croix, we also have to go off-site because they may be doing some work at our facility. We're trying to put our glass windows in the front. So we're looking at Human Services in Frederickson and one in Christiansted, and these are some agencies that are looking at long term, because the folks already bring those documents to get the services from Human Services, so we're trying to tie in with them, so that's something to look at in the future.
And I think we need to target, which we should target Charlotte High School, Medora Kent High School, Antilles High School, All Saints High School, St. Peter and Paul High School, Seventh-day Adventist High School, and those high schools, all the high schools are St. Thomas.
August 9th, I text you and I respond.
August 9th?
Let's go.
Okay. I didn't respond.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Salzberg and then you, Mr. Salzberg.
Thank you. Two questions. One, who would be demonstrating the machines in September?
Well, we had hoped that our in-house expert would have been here to assist, but
Even if I was on I'm telling you.
But since he's not, do we have other people?
that's the concern now. I don't believe, other than Mr. Bushalki, that anyone else, I'm not sure. Anybody else feel that they...
About numbers on the radio making even noise, let them be.
Please.
I'm just saying.
You stop being superstitious.
Hey,
Mr. Nandez.
if you could show me, give me some time to go through the machine, I won't have a problem with it, but I just would need to see. I don't have a problem with it. I think this process needs to go on. Because, Mr. Chair, my other thing, Mr. Chairman, is that after we do this demonstration on the parking lot, we need to really test the machines. Let's utilize one of the high schools on election day and a day at Amalgam. Go through, let's see how the machine will work in a given day. Let them go through a general election among themselves at the school with the volume of students to see how they would hook up. And we must do that way in advance to where it is that we have a problem.
Well, let's ask Ms. Fox if she'll be willing, like we can, high school may be...
One of them.
One of them may be a bigger challenge. It might be a little easier to coordinate it with maybe UVI. At least, whichever one is most practical to see what we can do. But again, none of us are experts here. And we may need, even if we do that, to engage ESNS to come in.
That's the second, this letter talks about him coming back.
Yes.
October, November, but
Right.
he needs 4 weeks notice to travel, 4 weeks working to October.
Yeah.
And he's got 2 weeks that he can't come, so
Yeah.
it seems to me that we pick the date now. Right.
Where are you reading? Where are you reading from?
Sure.
Okay, this letter. When it was Saturday the 31st.
So the earliest he can come now for 4 weeks travel would be.
We gotta pay that.
Oh, yeah, there are some outstanding bills.
So-
Right, October 8th would be the first.
I think this is something very important that they recommended November, so I think we're gonna look for
So
November.
it's October and November.
The St. Boy voted for November?
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it right there. Put it out of the October, so everybody now is ready, so.
Okay, well, let's discuss it. Does everybody have a copy of the letter?
Because no one did this.
Oh, they didn't, they just said.
No, they
It says, I am open to dates in October and November. The week of October 21st and November 4th are not available for me.
Okay.
I will need about 4 weeks' notice to book travel. There are some outstanding invoices, some from last year and one from the current install. These would need to be paid before I book my travel. Ms. Benjamin, will start us on that?
I know last year invoices have been paid. I'm not up to date with any current and stuff. I haven't seen any current bill.
Ms. Fox, have you?
She just was here in August, so that's when she started current.
They will be able to pay the next
That's 10, that's 12 days ago. This is from 12 days ago, this letter.
All right, so
So they're saying that they need these and the current install would need to be paid before she booked the travel. Is that Tricia or Sharon should have these? Please let her know. And you saying, Ms. Benjamin, you say you don't have any such,
Not current.
and you, Ms. Fox, you follow up with them? Okay. Okay, so we need to, We need to decide.
Yep. The week of October 21st and November 3rd.
Yeah.
I don't have a calculator. Tell me, Saturday.
I mean the calendar.
Calendar.
Yeah, we have October 8th, 14th, and 28th.
Keep in mind that that last week of October includes a holiday, November 1st.
November. Yeah. Everything.
I'm off island.
And then the week of November 11th includes Veterans Day.
Yes, that's a Monday.
And then the 18th and 25th, November 18th and 25th. He's saying he needs 2 days with each board, so he's allotting approximately a week.
So can we go to the 18th, between the 18th and the 25th, say the 18th and the
Right.
25th?
Either board.
Either the 18th or the
Either the
25th.
18th or.
So it's a day with us.
18th of
and
what?
Yeah,
Wait,
Actually, the
November.
25th, I'm sorry.
So the 2 days with us can be October 8th, November 18th and 19th, or November
Yes.
18th and 19th.
But this last week is the week of Thanksgiving.
Okay,
Okay, so it's the 18th.
okay. Let's go forward.
Okay. 18th and
October
19th.
9th.
No, you're correct. 18 and 19 for St. Thomas,
Uh-huh.
20 and 21 for St. Clair.
Okay.
Is that October?
That's
November.
November.
All right, motion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we
Second.
invite the representative from
PSNS.
ES&S to the territory of St. Thomas United District on November 19th,
18th.
18th and
Hold
19th.
on.
Sure, no, that's what I'm doing. Back on regular.
Repeat the motion again. I move that we invite the personnel from ES&S to the Virgins to assist with the operation and displaying of our election machines. So moved.
On the
On the
18th
18th
and 19th of November.
of November, yes. So moved.
18th and 21st.
18th, so you ask them to come to the territory between the 18th and 24th.
Yeah, because 2 days here, 2 days out there.
Yeah, but are we putting St. Croix dates in the, we want to do that?
Well, what's the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have-
it's been properly moved, it's been seconded by Mr. Bashante?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, discussion first. Any discussion?
So the 18th and
Ms.
19th.
Ms.
My biggest
Jordan?
concern is, yes, they have to come to the territory, long distance travel, but then we're still overstepping our bounds referring to making a decision to St. Paul.
Okay.
But then he
All right,
said.
wait, hold on,
Yeah, but you made a decision.
hold on.
Not a dig, just
Hold
a
on.
decision.
You made a statement. Okay. Ms. Fox, could you shed some light in terms of what St. Croix did or didn't do?
St. Croix also, the district meeting was Wednesday last week, and they voted at November, but they didn't select the exact date. So now, since both of you have November, I'll go back with the total dates, and it shouldn't be an issue for you.
Okay.
All right, any further
They did say
discussion?
November.
No
Any
problem.
further discussion, Ms. Salisbury?
I'll just throw out there that that is really the only week, other than October 8th, that doesn't have a federal holiday.
Okay.
Maybe holiday, 4 days.
Okay, any other further discussions on the motion? Any objections to the motion? Hearing none, it is so ordered. It will be on the week of the November 18th.
Chairman Washington?
Yes, ma'am.
I have a recommendation until the policy for moving the machines is created. I think from this board, we should require anyone who would like to see the machines, because we can't stop the process, or we should not stop the process of educating the public, let them submit that request in writing.
Okay.
And also one last thing, I mean, I guess we speak to different people, we have different constituents. I do have a mixture, I'll put it in that form, and those persons who have spoken to me about the machines, you stated, you know, some of them were against, and those persons who have spoken to me, most who have spoken to me are in favor and look forward to voting on those machines.
I didn't say anything like that. I said the people who I speak to don't want to vote on paper and use any scanner.
But same thing.
No,
But
I said the
anyway,
people I speak to.
I am not arguing, I'm just stating
You stated,
plainly.
but all I'm saying to you,
Spoke to me.
no, all
When you
I'm-
say one, you got to
no,
say
no,
two.
no, I'm saying,
That's all I'm saying.
you were saying what I said. And I'm saying that's not what I said.
You said
That's
you
all
don't
I'm
want to use the
I
machine.
said the people I speak to. You speak to, don't speak for me. You're
Okay,
saying what I said.
they spoke to, what did they say? Let me make sure I got it straight.
I'm moving on.
Oh, okay, because it comes out the same thing I said.
No, she said one thing and all I'm telling her
I'm not
is
wanting to use
not
the
what I said.
machine.
No, the first thing about getting on the
Exactly.
that's what
No,
it is.
that's not.
So when you say one, you just got to say
Excuse me. Please.
Yes, November 16th and 17th is agriculture fair. This to St. Thomas.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine, that's good. That's good. All right. Okay, anything else on the scanners? Any other comments? Ms. Salisbury?
I remember there being a comment one that you may or may not have
Well, I can ask, you can tell Ms. Hendricks and Ms. Wells, and I think Mr. Bushaldo was present when I asked the pointed question, explain the situation, and they can give you the answer, what was the answer to my question when I told them what the situation was.
Mr. Chairman.
Hold a minute, and then you say, Ms. Wells or Ms. Bushaldo, Ms. Wells, Mr. Bushaldo, Ms. Hendricks, do you want to comment in terms of what Ms. Alexia said when I told her how many polling places we had and the amount of people in the polling places?
Don't you remember?
You don't remember? You remember?
Something about how many, well, I don't want to.
You remember? What you said? Tell me what you said. Well, tell me if I'm wrong, if I mischaracterize what you said.
Okay.
Given what they understood, that we had 17 polling places, and that most of the polling places had over 400 people in each polling places, they did not think it's 20 machines was enough. Am I mistaken something, Mr. Bushaldo? Okay, right.
And Mr. Chairman, my
Yes,
reason
sir.
for doing that school thing is to see how those limited machines we can have without bid, before we wait until 2014 to decide whether or not we need machines. If we put them to the test now to see how those 20, it's only 20. I mean, they can put 10 in CAHS or 10 in another school. Let's see how they work, how they move for the day, and that would, before we wait too late and go buy the machine. I do think 20 machines is a little bit.
Ms. Alexia specifically
I swear.
characterized that that they believed 400 for polling place was what they were thinking about. Correct, Mr. Bushaldo?
Yeah, 400, no?
And we have some polling places that have more than 400.
They were recommending 400 machines.
No, 400. They were saying the optimum use was 400 for polling place. And I thought it was a little, that was
Each
small.
polling place has 400 voters.
Most, every polling place here in St. Thomas.
The lowest voting place is Oswald Harris Court at 765 or something.
So how many voters do they think the machine can accommodate per day? What's their optimum?
My understanding, when I asked them, they said 400 for polling place. That's what they said. Well, that's what I
So,
understood.
Mr. Chair.
Let me put it this way. I got from them, and I testified at the legislature, and I said again, if you have 17 voting sites and more than one voting site, more than one voting
The
place,
14 polling locations.
17.
And some are with 14?
17,
17?
17,
17?
17 included the two St. John.
yeah, 17 sites.
Okay. So
17
one of those machines per site. That's how you're gonna do it. If you only get 20, one per site.
One of the things that I was suggesting in the legislature is that we need, there are a number of things that
have like more than one.
we may have to consider consolidating, number one. Some of the sites, such as the site that you used to run, Ms. Hendricks, which is doing away with that site and moving everybody to high school and consolidating the places that people vote. In addition to that, one thing I suggested to the legislature that they may need to consider is early voting. In other words, having additional days prior to the election day of the first Tuesday in November to have people vote. Maybe like the Saturday before or the 2 Saturdays before that date, but those are things that the legislature would have to do. And basically expand the early voting, expand the definition of what we now call absentee voting to make it a little easier. Those are the things I suggest to the legislature. But we may have to consider consolidation and or acquiring additional equipment.
Do I understand the way you work? You walk in, you get your ballot, you go to a booth, you fill it out, and then you go to the tabulator?
Yes.
And put it in.
Yeah.
Am I the only one envisioning extraordinarily long lines?
No.
Miss Salisbury, I don't think you've been hearing me a long time then.
I foresee long lines.
I've been saying that for 6 months.
Scanner, and everybody in the room.
Then you have to.
I've been saying that for 6 months, because remember, Tony, the machine also tells you, if in fact you spoil your ballot, that you have an action to go back to vote.
It's how many ballots you're allowed to spoil.
And I can't, that's a very serious challenge for me. Because if you were gonna say that after the 2 times or 3 times a voter spoiled his ballot, he can't vote anymore. I thought to be tantamount to denying somebody right to vote. Well, but, okay, I was accused of being an alarmist. I was on the radio talking about that, and I was being accused of being an alarmist. I was being an alarmist by saying that, in fact, we should expect problems because it's a new system, it's paper, and and traditionally, even the sophisticated voters who vote on provisional ballots and on absentee ballots traditionally spoil 20% of them. So it is a challenge, and we would appreciate if you. I'll go over it with a fine-tooth comb myself, but if you can do that for us and see what we need to do in terms of this acceptance criteria and go from there.
So, Mr. Chairman, do you see us having a challenge with these things? A big one, if we don't get to it now, I mean,
What word are you saying again? Challenge?
challenge.
That's operative word.
What kind of work is it? It's gonna be exciting, it's gonna be.
You learn well.
I'm learning as I go along.
Listen, Mr. Daniel, you're a very experienced man, and you know anything that you introduce new to a voting public, to a block of people, is going to be a challenge to get it done right. So I agree with you that we should do as many practice tests as possible to get people comfortable with this process. Well, I mean, just get people familiar, get them familiar with it. As I said, the people who I speak to, people who speak to me, have indicated an unwillingness to vote on paper and put their paper through a scanner.
And another challenge, Mr. Chair, is the type of
What happened to the non-readers?
Well, that's where you get spoiled ballots, Mr. Hendricks.
Not even put on there.
That's what you get.
Yeah, that's if they admit to you.
She's talking about. Ms. Hendricks, are you referring to people who are illiterate? Yeah.
They don't tell. Then they'll spoil.
That's why we get a lot of spoiled ballots. We get ballots that people, notwithstanding they say vote for no more than 7, people vote for 8.
Or they vote for 7 plus 7.
Plus 7. you know?
And someone pointed out that something that we went to,
Yeah.
that persons from the Eastern Caribbean only vote by symbol, because that's the habit, but it still go down when they get our ballots here because they count and they fill in again. So of course the ballot is improved.
Well, if they fill in for the same people with the same,
Well, those
not a
are technical.
problem, but some, a lot.
Now you're the
All right.
Yeah.
Next
So-
move.
Yes, sir.
Next move, how we gonna, approach this? How we gonna?
Well, again, I try to impress upon the legislature that they need to start to move some of the legislation that they have before them, or in fact, when that, and then have and during that process, amend the law to do whatever they need to do to get things moving, because we can make as much recommendations as we want. If it doesn't pass in law, it doesn't happen. One of the questions here that ES&S also asked is the date of the election. Right now is the first Saturday in August, and our common filing, in August, yes, and our common filing date is the Monday after, as we speak. So we have already notified the legislature that, as per the vote of the joint board, that we move the common filing date to the first week of May in order to comply with the consent decree. Huh?
First week of May,
First week of May. I don't know if it's usually last week.
Last week of April, something that goes into.
Well, and they have yet to move on it. The last information I got was that the president is considering having a committee on the whole hearing, which to me will only retard the process rather than speed it up. It should be the bill should be, somebody has the bill, and there are other election bills, or bills that affect Title 18 that needs to be addressed. And they just need to put them in a committee, bring us in and bring in whoever else, bring Ms. Fox, bring the senator, the members from St. Croix, and let's have a discussion and sort these things out. And in that practice, you can deal with the early voting and all of that.
Let's talk about that. Early voting, so you're talking about, how do you envision that working? How would you propose that to the legislature?
Well, right now we do early voting here. We call it absentee voting.
So you're going to do it by mail?
Well, no, we do walk-ins. You come to the offices, but what I'm envisioning is actually having polling places set up, maybe the Saturday before the election, or the weekend before, where people would go in and vote. That's the early voting.
What does it cost to move all the machines out there on a Saturday, knock the judges, and have basically a mini voting day, and then close everything up, and go back here, and then do it again in the following?
It will cost
More than a new machine?
But it can be done in here too.
Yes.
more than new machines. I don't know what would be most cost effective. I have not done an analysis.
You don't
We-
have to
I
move
don't know the
in.
answer.
Huh?
We don't
We don't have to, we don't, and
This room
these,
is big enough.
Yeah.
That's my comment.
and yes, and as it said, during the regular election, thousands of people, actually vote prior to election day.
Get the right number, okay, get those that take us court, that tell us we give.
Mr. Bushalti, I don't live to deal with ignorance. I don't live to deal with ignorance. I thought about that.
Okay.
So I don't worry about it. Thousands of people vote by absentee vote every year. More often than not, the absentee votes determine the outcome of the elections in a number of cases. Votes, people win last election by 50 votes.
Well,
50 votes was, I think, the difference between the winner and the loser last year. No, about 50 votes, But I'm not concerned about people going on the radio and talking. I'm 60 years of age, I've done what I've had to do in life. I'm worried about it.
I know more like this.
Yeah. So that's what I envision. But They are the policy makers. They set the policy in terms of how people vote and when they vote. And they, as long as they have the information, we give them the information, is the legislature.
I would agree with you on the absentee votes because candidate Ford was number 7 in the primary, and then the counting of the ballots, he lost by 5 votes after the counting of the paper ballot.
Correct.
So,
Yeah.
so I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And that was, he wasn't the only one. I think when Sean ran, he had the same problem, and there was like a few cases that absentee votes do matter.
Really, my point was, though, is the cost analysis.
Yes.
Does it make sense to get more machines, or does it make sense to request, or financially? I don't know how much the machines are, I don't know how
Well-
much it costs to have a mini voting.
You know, even if we have early voting, I still see with the machine, we got limited machines, we don't still need more machines. Because again, let's think now, we're humans, this is a new concept coming into us now. Are they gonna come out in the street on a regular day and vote, or they're gonna want to come to that to that day of the election?
People would
And vote?
prefer
I mean,
no,
Early.
early.
So,
Yeah, so
We
they
have 2
could
weeks.
avoid, all of the confusion the day of election.
If we have an hour,
Telling
say
you.
from 8 to 8.
Yes.
A few people have indicated to me
Yes.
that they will not brave the crowd
Right.
on November, on whatever day in November, given the fact that it's going to be paper ballots, because they already envision that it's going to be a backlog, and they would welcome the idea of being able to vote early as
Then, Mr. Chairman, I see no reason not setting up voting here, like Ms. Member Henry said, voting, let's do it here. Open there, you want to
Yes.
vote early, just like you do. Normally, you would have to go into the elections office to vote absentee or
But
early, right?
don't forget, gentlemen and ladies, and I'll let you speak, Mr. Bishop. If the legislature adopts what we have suggested to them,
It will be up to us.
Or we
Right,
can,
right.
That's the creative.
mention, we would have ballots in hand. We would have ballots in hand before 45 days. What our needs are, and they are willing to accommodate us. So Ms. Fox is here. Ms. Fox is here. She's hearing everything. She's taking it down, and she's going to put things in place. Right, Ms. Fox?
That's correct.
All right. good.
Tell me what you need, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Lastly, she says in this letter that will voters be placing their ballots in the PS 200 when they vote in the office? If so, we may need to discuss purchasing additional units. That's
Bins, box
I don't know.
bins, that's what the bins.
That's what she's.
The bins are the under the machine to catch
Yes.
the ballot.
Yes. Okay. So,
That's a good question too. Let's say we use those same machines to go out in the field. Remove the bins from them. That bins that has in the ballots, and we remove that. Can they lock, are they secured after you remove them from, and then put in another one between the machine and the
bins are locked, right, Mr. B?
They are top over.
Huh?
They are locked, yes.
No, I mean, when you just take the one from the machine that you're presently using in-house, you take the machine out to the field, that box that you take can lock. Okay, so there's no tampering like crazy. Okay. I use the word crazy there.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, what have we
I think,
conclusion or your
I think we, on the board, I think we have to utilize whatever influence we have to influence the people who have the legislation who want to move it. Let me just say again, there is a senator who preempted anyone else even before the official correspondence went to the legislature. Some senator had the exact dates that we had approved in discussed in committee, had the bill request, and had the legislation holding.
See, that's the whole problem with them guys. That's.
Excuse me?
Is that secret?
If it was a secret, I wouldn't be telling you. Huh? Well, it's on the website, you can go up on the website and see it. But it's Senator Graham is the one who has the legislation. So,
Dates.
yes.
And is there legislation pending about early voting?
No. See, I don't know. I have a listing of all the bills that have been introduced. However, I don't know, I haven't seen anything for early voting. I discussed it at the budget hearing when I was there.
You guys have one to
So would you suggest that,
You know,
what do we say to certain?
I think we have to utilize whatever little influence we have to get the senators to move.
Yeah, but I mean, what's their rationale? I mean, it's sickening, you know, they know what's coming down, they know there'll be something that creating problems. Nobody is saying the legislation, everybody is saying on the election. I mean, where do
The letter was received, on the 31st of May by Senator Malone. I'm saying to you, even before the 31st of May, Senator Graham had the bill request with the exact same dates that we were recommending.
So what's his hold up?
What do we answer for?
What do you
Kay
get?
Park
Well,
is, Kay
I
Park
mean-
is the senator that is responsible for.
Yeah, she heads a committee that would,
You think maybe that might be,
I've spoken to her many times about it.
no, maybe the reason why Graham isn't pushing it forward because it's not under his purview.
Well, I think what's happening right now is they're going through the budget hearing, and that's what has basically dominated the legislative process.
And before the budget hearings even started, I asked them to move some money so we can get, and every day is a sad story. Oh, them fellas didn't do this.
I
Oh,
would-
them fellas didn't do that. Oh, I can't. I mean,
I would ring Graham's day again, as I've been doing for the last couple of weeks, and ask them to see if they can get it into, get a committee hearing, because I know there's more than one bill regarding election issues.
Sometimes after the 12th, we have the exit meeting. I was hoping the 13th,
So
so
maybe that's a place to discuss the
Put it,
institutional
go.
recommendation or this
Well, I really believe in the legislative process. I think we can discuss it, but I think our discussions,
I recommend, but I mean, the legislature needs to be aware of the number of machines we have.
They,
they are. I told them,
heard before, they heard that they.
heard it from me. I told them, come, do the math. Don't believe me, do the math. Do the math. Come for yourself. You know, so. Okay, I had jumped to the discussion in the National Voter Registration Day. Any other comments that or do we just leave it to Ms. Fox and then she'll keep us informed as to what we want to do, what we, maybe anybody who may have a suggestion can talk to Ms. Fox or talk to Sharon and to Ms. Fox and Ms. Fox?
Have a number that we can reach you at.
Yes, 31021, and the phone number is public communications and phone number is 713-1934. In the office, 1934.
This is home.
Home.
This is
Cell
cell.
is 227-8827. Again, email address is shipped over.
Yes,
One
Ms.
further
Fox.
information for the whole board. if you
You're a
need-
night person?
Yes, I'm a lady. Shirts, organizational shirts, we need you to have your sizes in, especially the board members, if you haven't received a shirt. We're trying to get shirts for the 24th, and we need to get them ordered 2 weeks before. So all you need to go to which Trevor knows, Ms. Benjamin, whichever hair supplier you utilize, the shirts.
No, I'll come.
Yeah, right.
If you're busy and around.
So for the 24th of September.
Okay, we are 3:33, so we need to speed up so that we can get some other business taken care of.
Just give me a minute.
It's good. Okay, old business. I don't know if we have any, is there any old business that anybody wants to reiterate and bring up again? Yes, Ms. George.
The state plan.
Yes? Yes?
referring to what I recommended for the St. Thomas district, first to come up with some names.
Yes?
We had that discussion, so
Yeah.
I'm asking if we're gonna come up with names now, or what are we going to
And
do?
I remember me saying to you,
No, I'm not
Spare-
chairing.
was
I
spearheading.
said that I will be on the committee.
I
I
said-
will be
I
out of
suggest-
place to do
I
that.
suggested to you spearheading.
You know, we filed it in May, all things like this.
Yeah. So unless there's some movement, you have some recommendations, because the recommendations are made to the joint board chair
Correct.
for the estate plan.
And just to speed up the process, what I recommended is that we hold a discussion in the district, and then when we go to the
Okay.
joint board level, both districts meet, and we could take care of that right then and there,
Okay.
instead of trying to plan from the beginning.
Okay,
And this
so-
is like the
So what do you want to do?
third to fourth month that we're still having the discussion.
So what do you want to do?
I'm still waiting on names, whatever you all
Well,
recommend.
you don't have any names? You don't have any names?
I have a couple, I just
Well,
need to
maybe-
verify with the persons if they're going to say yes.
Well, I thought after these months you would have gotten verification by now.
Yeah, but then, based on our discussion, I thought we would have all worked on it together, waiting on you, fearless leader. But
Excuse me?
since that, I
What is
was
that?
waiting on you, fearless leader,
Oh.
but since I have another old business, we could move on, come join place with that.
Okay.
Okay, the next thing is the, you did ask legal counsel, so I guess my question is through you to legal counsel concerning the AG's investigation. Okay, because I do recall that the chair had asked you to follow up on that.
No,
at the-
I said I would follow up with the AG, and he said to me, it will be coming shortly. I have not written to him, asking him when it's short.
There's a conflict of interest out here. I can't represent you, I mean.
No, I understand, it was just to find out, what, if it was done, not done, you know, big thing in the paper and, you know.
I think most importantly, most importantly, the issue of the draft audit report is a little bit more pertinent at this point, because it really does affect whether or not we can continue to receive the harbor funds. Yeah.
That's very,
So that's
that is very true, but then remember it was all business, so I was addressing all items.
Right.
But you are correct, and I would have stated that when you get to the audit report.
Okay,
But then, like I said, all business.
okay.
I have a, old business also.
Yes, ma'am.
We had set aside some funds for training for the joint board members, and probably Sharon has
I
some
think,
information on it that we did for
I think,
Weston.
I think Miss Falk, under her item G, board members, training new members, I think she wants to, you can, I think maybe if you coordinate with her, or with the two of them, you can come up with something. I think all those monies, as far as I know, have been encumbered and continue to be encumbered, or at least the monies have been placed with someone, with Westin.
That's a good, now is a good time because they're closing off some of the areas and we
Yeah.
probably have to run up property. and just-
Well, maybe Ms. Welch, you wanna just coordinate with Ms. Fox on it? Yeah, in terms of, because Ms. Fox has some ideas in terms of board members training and new members. So I think that once you all discuss
The
that.
three of us will meet and
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, on the old business, you know, we talked about a deputy, so I guess when we go into item H, that's where we'll be discussing that matter?
Yes, ma'am.
At least what, okay.
Yes, Ms. Bennett.
We went into detail on item
Well, we haven't gone into detail. We say we leave it to you, Ms. Fox. What, you got some specific you want to say?
What time, all board members on July 10th.
Well, Mr. Bushali said he's not going to be here. Yeah, he said that he's not going to be here. I would think it would be, Ms. Fox, from 10 to 3. 10 to 3.
You will take the board members.
Yeah.
and say,
And I have some people who are willing to come and volunteer, that are talked to me about it, they would, and Mr. Bashanti, if you can, if you'd be willing to, somebody, a retiree who has, would like to assist in terms of helping with showing people how to use the scanner. Can I call you and maybe, make yourself available to help this lady out to be a volunteer?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else? No more business?
None of this from you.
Thank you. With the item on the new business, in item G, is the letter dated August 7, 2013, from the delegate, the Congress, to Chairman Wells, regarding our recommendation of taking a position on the change in terms of how we elect our sole federal representative. The letter is self-explanatory, but I will just read the last paragraph. Electing our delegate by a plurality rather than a majority is one we have addressed in the move 45-day requirement. The other possibility would be to hold a runoff election 50 or 60 days after the federal general election instead of the current 14 days. As the representative of our respective areas in Congress, one delegate, Madeline Bordalo, and I will be asked for our preference on which way the law should take. Accordingly, I am writing to solicit your views on whether we should keep electing the Bordalo delegate to Congress by a majority vote and extend any runoff or require a plurality vote instead. Ms. Hendricks, are you leaving the room before we take the vote? Any questions? Any questions in terms of what that means?
saw the delegate.
You have a question or concern, Ms. Georges?
Yes, I'd like to state, please state on the record the difference.
Okay. Right now, we elect our delegate based on 50 plus 1, which is a majority, rather than getting a plurality or just more than the other. At times, I don't recall if we ever had a runoff for the federal position. Of course, we had runoff for the gubernatorial position. It is not an issue locally if we have the election 10, 20, 30 days after the general election. But based upon the same MOVE Act and the Overseas Voting Act, which would still require that you have ballots in people's hands 45 days before any election, it would be a problem based on our current law. If we don't change, I personally believe that going to a plurality would be the best way, the most economical way in terms of where we are right now, rather than continuing to advocate 50 plus 1. Because usually, if you have 3 strong candidates, you can get 33, 30, and 29 in terms of the vote, and the rest spoiled. So it would seem to me that I would urge this district that we recommend to the joint board and or to the delegate that we go to the plurality vote, and it would solve a number of our economic issues, and we would be also practically in compliance with the federal consent decree that we've entered into.
Because what I would also like to say is that even though we've never had to have a runoff, that does not mean that it will not happen. We want to not have it happen.
Correct.
I actually think there was when Francis was Fraser, the year that Fraser ran, I think it was.
Yeah, when it was.
I don't recall.
Yeah, Fraser and the judge.
chair with the
And
few.
then the judge.
But I went to the primary, then from the primary, then they hit them, and then come back at Fraser.
So
Yeah.
I would suggest, I would suggest that we take a vote on it, and that we send the results of our vote to the delegate, and or a recommendation to the joint board that as a group we should recommend plurality vote. And I'm suggesting and urging that we go the way of plurality.
I think,
Yes,
add
ma'am.
something in the record, I think at this time, because it is a joint board matter, I could see us, voting whenever we want to vote on the district, but we still gotta bring it to that joint board meeting.
Well,
Was it discussed in secret, Steve, in the board?
Yeah.
We didn't discuss that.
well, I think,
Because
given what has
this-
happened with joint board meetings, yes, St. Thomas, St. John District should make a recommendation, but I think as a district board, we should give our opinion strict, as quickly as possible, because we know what has happened at joint board meetings. Sometimes we come, and especially in real fact, that the joint boards are 14 people, and we could end up with a 7-7 vote. So I think it's important that at least one district, at least one district should take a position thereupon, because I've seen too many important things not occur at a joint board meeting. So I'm asking for us to, yes, ma'am.
We vote here as a block, and then when you go to secret, you vote as a block, and then you put the two together, that will be considered joint. You don't have to meet 14 people together to make that. In other words, if no?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think if you have if the joint board has a position, it has to be voted at that joint board meeting. So I think this issue is so important that we should express our position and make our recommendation to the joint board, and whichever way it goes. That's my opinion. So I would urge one of you to, in fact, make the motion that we make a recommendation to the joint board that we go by plurality vote, and that we convey our position to the delegate.
So,
Second.
Any objections? Hearing none, so ordered. I will in fact suggest to the delegate that we have, by a unanimous vote, suggested that she recommend that Congress go to the plurality vote, and that we make that recommendation to the joint board at our next meeting. Okay? Anything else under new business that I may have missed, Ms. Benjamin, that you remember, or Ms. Fox? Okay. At this point, I think, yes, Ms. Jordan.
Date for the audit?
Huh?
For Thursday, the audit.
Well, we discussed that.
Okay.
Okay. I would entertain a motion that we go into executive session to discuss the draft audit and the deputy supervisor's position, that those things are personnel matters and matters that are